Hello and welcome. If you're new to my channel, I'm Carissa and I make videos to help you move from feeling financially overwhelmed and unsure of how to manage your money to feeling empowered and confident in your personal financial system so that you can live your richest life. This video is for college graduates. Congratulations, you made it. I am so sorry that this graduation season has not looked like what you were promised and what you had hoped for, but I wanted to make this video to highlight some of the important things that college graduates should do with their money and their finances as soon as they graduate. Just a little disclaimer, I am not a financial expert. I'm just sharing things that have worked for me and things that I have learned. So feel free to take and implement the things that you think would be helpful for you and leave the things that are not. It can be really easy right after you graduate college, especially if you've already landed a job, to go out and get a really nice apartment or get used to getting takeout every single week. But there are some important considerations that I think you should address first. The first thing that you should do with your finances after graduating is get really familiar with your debt and determine a debt payoff plan. Many students will graduate with student loan debt after college. You might have student loan debt or credit card debt or a car loan. I encourage you to take a moment to sit down, get all of those numbers together to determine exactly how much debt you have and where the different places are that you have that debt. Once you know exactly how much debt you have and where you have that debt, then you can determine a debt payoff plan. Two popular debt payoff methods are called the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. The debt snowball involves paying the minimum payments on all of your debts, but putting any extra money towards paying off the smallest debt first. Once you pay off the smallest debt, then you put the minimum payment that you had been paying towards that debt, plus any of the extra money you had been contributing towards paying down that debt, to the next smallest debt on your list. This method is really great because it allows you to see some quick progress when you knock out some of those smaller debts first. The debt avalanche is similar to the debt snowball, but is a little bit different in the order that you pay off debts. The debt avalanche also involves paying the minimum payment on all of your debts, but this time you would contribute any extra money you have for paying off debt to the debt with the highest interest rate. Once you pay off the debt with the highest interest rate, then you would put the minimum contribution for that debt and any extra money you had been throwing at that debt towards the debt with the next highest interest rate. So instead of ordering your debts smallest to largest, you're ordering your debts by largest interest rate to smallest interest rate. This method will technically save you the most money in interest paid, but the debts with the highest interest rates may take a while to pay off, so you may not get those quick wins to gain traction and momentum to pay off your other debts as well. I encourage you to do a quick internet search to find a student debt payoff calculator or just a debt payoff calculator in general. This can help you play around with the numbers to see how your contributions could impact the amount of interest that you pay or how long it could take you to pay off your debts. You might find that if you're willing to contribute just a little bit more money, you could pay off your debts more quickly or maybe save a bunch of money in interest paid. Debt really impacts your net worth and your ability to live the life that you want to live. I really encourage you to sit down to figure out exactly how much debt you have and when and how you plan to pay it off. The second thing I encourage you to do with your finances immediately after graduating college is start saving for an emergency fund. Right now, you all are seeing firsthand just how important an emergency fund is if you lose your job or have a bunch of medical bills or really just have anything unexpected come up. Most financial experts recommend having enough money in your emergency fund to cover 3 to 6 months worth of bare minimum living expenses. However, for you all, I might just recommend setting aside some money from each paycheck to start saving towards 1 month's worth of bare minimum living expenses. The third thing that I would recommend you do with your finances as soon as you graduate college is just track your spending for 1 month. This is a great way to take stock of your expenses, especially if you're not exactly sure how much money you would need in order to create that 1 month emergency fund, or if you're not sure how much extra money you might be able to contribute towards paying down your debt. For 1 month, just write down where your money goes and what you spent money on. You could use an app like Mint or record this in a spreadsheet, but I usually just record this in the margins of a journal every single night. So I will just write down the amounts of money I spent, the store or place I spent the money, and then a quick description of what the money was spent on. At the end of the month, then, you can group your expenses into categories, things like groceries or transportation or utilities or pet care. Any groups that you're noticing or themes you see in common, group the expenses together to figure out how much you spent in each category. Tracking your expenses for 1 month can help you build a budget, plan for how much you need to save for your emergency fund, and determine how much money you can contribute to your debt payoff plan. The fourth thing that I recommend that college graduates do with their money is open a retirement investment account and start saving money for retirement. I know that retirement seems so far away, but it is so important that you start investing in your future and saving for retirement now. In order to illustrate the importance of starting early, I'm going to tell a story about two twins. You can find this tale of two twins all over the internet, so do a quick search and you can find lots of different renditions of this story. I will link an article in the comments below that includes the specific details that I'm sharing in this video. The specific details I'm sharing in this video come from an article written by Ramit Sethi, who is the author of I Will Teach You to Be Rich. So if you're looking for more information, I will link that article below. So in this specific example, there are two friends or two twins. They're Smart Sally and Dumb Dan. When Smart Sally turned 25, she decided to start investing $100 a month every single month for 10 years. Once she had invested that $100 a month for 10 years, she decided to stop investing altogether. So Smart Sally contributed $100 each month for 10 years, so that was a total of $12,000 she contributed towards her investment account. Dumb Dan, on the other hand, started investing later. Dumb Dan started investing when he turned 35. He started investing the same amount, $100 a month, but this time Dumb Dan invested for 30 years. So from the time he was 35 until he turned 65, he was investing $100 a month. So Dan ended up investing $36,000. Assuming they had an 8% rate of return on their investment accounts, by the time they hit the age of 65, Sally would have $200,061 in her investment account, whereas Dan would only have $149,036 in his investment account. So Sally only invested $12,000 and ended up with over $200,000 in her investment account. Dan, on the other hand, invested $36,000, 3 times more than Sally invested, but ended up with $50,000 less in his investment account at age 65. The power in investing is in starting early. If you are employed and your employer offers a 401k match, this means that they will match any money that you put into this tax-advantaged retirement account. If your employer offers this amazing opportunity where they're giving you this free money, go ahead and talk to your HR folks, find out what it takes to set up this account, and make sure that you're contributing as much as possible in order to receive the highest possible match or the highest amount of free money from your employer. You can also do a quick internet search on other retirement accounts, but I decided to open a Roth IRA and I just contribute 5% of my take-home pay every single month to that account as well. Please do not overlook this step because you feel like retirement is so far away. The power in investing and in compound interest is in starting early. Do your 65-year-old self a huge favor and find the money to start investing in your future and saving for your retirement now. The final recommendation I have for college graduates is to begin to determine your financial values. Most college graduates are not rolling in the dough right after they graduate college. This means that you probably can't afford a really nice apartment and a new car and all organic groceries and be able to pay for takeout 3 times a week. You might be able to do some of those things, but you probably can't afford to do all of them. Take some time to reflect on what is really important to you. Is it important to you to be able to go out to dinner and drinks with friends a couple times a week? Or would you rather save that money and be able to go on an international trip once a year? Is having a nice apartment really important to you, or are you willing to have a smaller, maybe older apartment so that you can contribute more money to funding your shoe obsession? Think through what matters most to you. If you were able to track your spending for a month, you could write out all of those categories that you grouped your spending into onto note cards and then organize them into order of importance for you. This could help you to determine which things you're willing to spend more money on and which areas you could make cuts in order to have that extra money to spend in other areas that are more important to you. I've done another video on financial values and on determining what your richest life looks like. So if you're interested in checking out that video, I will link it at the top. You can check out that video if you want to hear more about how to make those determinations and figure out what your financial values are. There are likely lots of suggestions of things that I could have suggested to you to do with your money after college, but I would rather just give you a short list of the 5 things that I think are most important and have you choose and do 4 of them than give you a list of 20 things and have you not do any of them because you feel so overwhelmed by the length of the list. To recap, there are 5 things that I recommend that college graduates do with their money as soon as they graduate college. Number 1, determine how much debt you owe and figure out a debt payoff plan. Number 2, start an emergency savings fund with 1 month's worth of bare minimum living expenses. Number 3, track your expenses for 1 month to figure out where your money's going. Number 4, open a retirement investment account and start saving for and investing in your future. And number 5, determine your financial values. College graduates, congratulations again. Let me know in the comments below which of these suggestions you are going to tackle first. If you're interested in seeing more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so that you're the first to know when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.